Welcome to Dynamo Dynamics, winning goals to digital dominance. I'm your host, Danny Perry, and with me as always is my guy, Kai. And Kai, I think our last show, we teased it by saying, or this show, we teased it by saying, can the Dynamo start a new streak after a 3-1 defeat to Sporting Kansas City? And we had Montreal, bottom of the table basically on the eastern side, and 3-1 defeat last time.
And they repeated another 3-1 defeat.
It's the wrong kind of streak.
Yeah.
We started the wrong type of streak. So we're on a losing streak now. So 3-1, not the result we wanted, obviously.
No.
And another break coming up, and then some tough away matches coming up, and bottom of the table, Montreal on the other side. You were there. What happened? What happened?
Well, the lineup was a little bit different. We had no McGlynn. I would love to see that not impact the team as much, but it really seemed like it did. Felt like the midfield wasn't as solidified as we've seen it with him in there. But still, one player shouldn't determine, a full score line like that, but it really showed. We were dominating possession the first half a lot. Like, the ball never came to our side of the pitch, and when it did, it was basically just a very weak attack or a weak counterattack, and we play it back, but we never got in those really good positions. Like, we had a lot of shots, but they were long shots from far out or crossing it in the box, and nothing really was working, and it seemed like we were missing that one factor of McGlynn in the midfield,
making the key pass, breaking through the lines.
Yeah, and missing his shots too, because the shots that we did see that were from outside the box were not close to on target at all. Someone tried like a volley, skied over the net by probably 20, 30 feet above, stuff like that was going on. But it felt like before they scored, it felt like, we're in a good spot where we're getting the ball in the right area, just not deep enough.
Right.
And then they came back and got that first goal. Great goal by them.
That was, you're kind of understating it. That was actually a pretty spectacular individual goal almost.
Mm-hmm.
Once Owesu got the ball, he dribbled through our defense.
Yeah.
Some really good skill inside the box, no less. It was a really crowded area that he maneuvered through and got off a great shot.
And he was getting beat up all game. It was him and Ortiz were going back and forth all game. It was, they actually were not calling that many fouls. There were times where, as a Dynamo fan, I was glad. He kind of got pushed in the back, and I don't know how they didn't call it, but it was kind of going both ways. It wasn't one-sided. Mm-hmm. And he got that first goal, and then the second goal that he got, it was just...
the second
he's a big striker, and he got into the box, and...
But that goal was not even 2 minutes later.
No, it was so quick. It was a quick turnaround, and then the whole stadium was pretty loud, and then after that, it was
like the
basically silent. Yeah.
I can only imagine. And watching the highlights, you were saying there were a lot of shots that the Dynamo took. I saw 18 shots, but only 2 on target. Yeah. We ultimately pulled a goal back, but I'm sure you'll talk about that a little bit, but obviously too little too late, especially after they scored a third.
Yeah.
So, how did that play out?
Yeah, that third goal happened, and, stadium got a little bit quieter, but then we started picking back up because we started building the momentum back. It felt like after that first goal and then the second goal happening so fast, it was like the players didn't look like they weren't happy. They didn't want to be out there. It's like, well, what's going on? And then the fans were thinking that. They put away the third, and then we get that one goal back, and, you're starting to think, well, we have enough time. There's always enough time. And then right after we get that goal back, we hit the post, and it was inches away from...
Yeah, I'm not sure how that one stayed out, looking at it on
the
highlights.
They didn't VAR it or anything, and all the fans are saying, hey, come on, And
that would have made a real difference. If 3-2 at that point in the game would have been...
Yeah.
That would have been all of the pressure on Montreal, but unfortunately...
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get another one back after that. It was just that one goal, and we got a few corners, few opportunities, but ultimately...
Disappointment.
Yeah.
Disappointment. That's not the streak we wanted. I mean, we did predict a streak, but unfortunately, not what we were looking for. So the Dynamo go down. They drop now to, I think, 11th in the table, and so they're out of the playoff spots as it stands right now. But it only takes a win and 2 wins will get you into very much into the top 5 or top 6. So
we're right there.
We're there, but that was disappointing. But looking at, again, the upcoming, we have a break this week, but then we have the at Minnesota, and then St. Louis here at home. Those are the next 2 matches coming up following, and then 2 more on the road after that. So
it's gonna be a rough. We haven't really talked about a 4-game stretch this series at all because we really just need to focus on 1 game. But these next 4 are huge, and we're playing very competitive teams.
Yep.
So it's
and 3 on the road, and this really seems like it could make or break.
Yes,
this could be the critical 4-game stretch.
I agree.
Yeah,
I'm hoping we can go away and win.
I'd like to see 9 points out of this stretch.
I would too.
I'd like to see 12, but.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to play out. I mean, we just got to take care of 1 game at a time. Minnesota's pretty solid. I think they might be sitting 4th or 5th.
I don't have their table, but I'm pretty sure they've been solid this year.
And then I know we have San Diego, which we haven't seen, new club, and then
we have St. Louis before that.
Yeah,
and they were on the national broadcast this weekend. Actually, St. Louis versus LAFC, 3-3 draw between those teams. So
pretty good as well.
They're playing. They can score at least. And then followed by San Diego, which is the surprise team in the whole league, the expansion team. They're sitting at 2nd in the table. I mean,
and they're dominating.
And they are absolutely dominating.
Yeah.
So that's 3 tough ones right there. And then coming back to Real Salt Lake, who are
always
the high scoring matches with Real Salt Lake that go either way. You know? So tough 4-game stretch.
Yeah.
All right, let's just predict 1 game at a time.
Yeah,
let's just predict 1 match.
I think we should start with Minnesota. That's who we have next, and Minnesota away.
You have 2 weeks to change your mind, or you have basically.
I may wait a little bit. I may wait till next episode to predict the scoreline of Minnesota because I really got to think on that, see where they're sitting, see how their form is, and everything.
All right. We'll defer the predictions until next week. All right, so. That's MLS. It's cooking. It's definitely hot outside. I mean, you can attest to that.
Very hot.
That's I think that's one of the features of MLS is you're going to play in some really hot, oppressive.
Also, the Club World Cup. I tuned in yesterday to a little bit of PSG and Atletico Madrid, and
all of those are being played here in the U.S. as well. So
and I'm not sure where they were playing, but it was PSG Atletico, and they had a stoppage for
water break.
No, it was like a heat break.
I mean, it makes sense. A lot of those guys aren't.
They're not used to
anything like this at all.
90-degree weather,
80% humidity.
Yeah,
so, loving it. I'm sure, but I mean. The matches have started. It's the Club World Cup. The tickets are selling and not selling. There's a little bit of controversy around that. But I guess politics is playing into that a little bit too. A lot of big audiences not really showing up. But there were a couple of, I guess, marquee matches. You said PSG versus Atletico. Which
4-0 PSG. Which Atletico did get a red card, and then they gave up 2 after that. But still. PSG looks dominant.
Definitely. So maybe they want to add another trophy before the summer's over after winning the after winning the Champions League, actually. So, but the other highlight match for the weekend was Bayern Munich versus
Auckland
FC, a semi-pro team. From Australia.
Remind me again, did I say 8-0 Bayern our last episode?
I think you said 7-0, so you're looking for a 7-0. And who would have thought that would be underselling it?
Yeah.
How did it end?
10-0 Bayern. And, I looked. Auckland had one shot on target.
Not even a chance. That's kind of... I don't know. That was a little embarrassing, that matchup, that matchup actually came.
I mean, it is hard to see a semi-professional team, like an amateur team, go in and play a top Champions League contender, one of the best clubs.
An amateur team playing any professional team.
Yeah.
But an amateur team playing like
a European
one of
giant,
the top teams in the whole entire world.
Yeah. No bias on my end. Like even if Auckland was playing, like Real Madrid, it's like, and I'm not a big Real Madrid fan. They get the best of us in Champions League, and I wouldn't want to see it. It's not. I kind of feel bad, but Bayern can't sit out there and go, well, we're gonna not score, because then that's just. It's a tournament. You got to win, right? And
well, exactly.
We got a 10-goal differential.
From the Auckland perspective, I did a little research on them, and they their revenue last year was 488,000 euros. I'm sorry, pounds. And the prize money that they get for being in this tournament is almost $3 million. So I guess it's worth
being in the
them.
Groups.
Just for that's the minimum they're going to walk away with.
Well, and it also gives the players gives them a chance to play. They can go on and say, "Oh, we played Bayern Munich,
but we lost
great club,
10-0." But
So
it's going. We'll see. I mean, that's only match day one. So we're in the group stages, and we'll see how it plays out. Auckland has a chance to redeem themselves.
I have the MLS team has not won so far. Inter Miami drew, and then Seattle lost to Boga.
Right there, Botafogo. Is that a Colombian team?
Botafogo. Yeah, so we'll see.
MLS, not a good showing. Let's do better on match day 2, please. Yeah. Well, that's there's a lot obviously always going on in the soccer world, but there's other sports happening too. So the NBA Finals, we're at Game 4, and it's
2-2,
turning into everything that you kind of want a final series to be, right?
I don't recall an NBA Finals being this competitive in a couple, at least 5 years. Yeah. So really exciting to see.
It is.
I think we both said OKC will win, but I'm still rooting for Indiana the whole way through.
I'm sticking with the OKC prediction, but Indiana is. I think they're probably opening a lot of people's eyes. They're much
opening my eyes
than I gave them credit for being. They're a all-around team. They have basically everything on that squad, and they play as a team. So I mean, Halliburton is the big name, but he's not really even the biggest star most nights. I mean, it could be any of those guys.
Definitely. And then we got MLB, the Astros, rolling into almost midway through the season, and they're sitting in first place in our division.
There you go. It's almost all-star game time, so I guess we have to start paying attention. But
so is that I think we got, another 90 games? Another 90 games, folks. We'll start keeping up with them after the All-Star break.
Ish. 90-ish. There are a lot more games to go.
Yeah.
This is when I guess you start really paying a little more attention to the positioning for the playoffs. And Astros seem to be coming together at the right time. And we'll see. We'll pay a lot more attention to them as the weeks go by. You want to make a prediction on Game 5 of the finals, NBA Finals?
Where is it at?
It is in Oklahoma City.
I'm going to go Oklahoma City taking that game.
Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go, let's see, who won the last one? Pacers won the last one? No, Oklahoma City won the last one.
Oklahoma City won the last one. They are flopping, so.
I'm going with Oklahoma City as well. I think they're going to go ahead and take Game 5 and put the pressure on the Pacers.
Yeah.
Pacers will win Game 6. Then we'll get that.
To Game 7, awesome.
Winner take all Game 7. That's what we're all looking for.
Yeah, definitely.
That's it. All right.
Yeah, well, let us know your thoughts on the MLS and the Club World Cup. Let us know how your teams are faring in there. I mean, so far mine's looking great.
How could they not?
Let us know what you guys are up to and thinking on this tournament. And
All right. So, like Kai said, hit us up on our socials. Let us know what you're thinking, and then join us again next week. We'll actually make a prediction on MLS, and maybe we'll talk transfers. Maybe it gets a little more real by that time, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Out of the silly season. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us on Dynamo Dynamics, and we'll see you next time.